Okay, now, the logical movement of this, and this is a great deal of the reason I asked you to be with me today, is to talk a little bit about pet loss and grieving, because it seems in the last several weeks I've had a bunch of close friends, both my age and younger families with children, who have lost much loved family members, what I call fur babies. I had skin babies and fur babies, and as far as I'm concerned, for me, and maybe I'm nuts, but they're my family too. And these are people who have lost their fur babies and are dealing with the loss and trying to explain it to their children and trying to explain it to their friends and neighbors who simply don't understand why they could be grieving over just a dog or just a cat or, for God's sakes, just a turtle. And so you must hit that an awful lot. How do you deal with it?
Well, first of all, as far as your children go, it's just best to let them know that their loved pet has gone to another place, that their life was well spent here with us, and now they're in, I would say, doggy heaven, cat heaven, whatever pet it is. Never let them know that you just put your animal to sleep.
And let's talk about why that, yeah.
Because children will go to sleep and be afraid to go to sleep because they'll think they won't wake up again. So not a wise decision to let your children know that. As far as working with the families and losing your pet that you love and cherish, part of the family, I know very well because I've gone through it myself, that people who don't love animals the way we do are not going to comprehend why you're grieving the way you are over that pet that you lost. So what I tell families is it's okay, it's normal, this was part of your family, and to just ignore what the other people are saying because they'll never understand it. And if they ever need to talk, I always give them my numbers and they can call me whenever they want to get themselves through it. And that's about it.
One of the other things that I heard you say, and something that I have said for years to families of children, kids who've lost a dog, a cat, a turtle, a frog, a goldfish, I don't care, something that they loved. I generally say to the kids that the animal isn't with you anymore, and the animal spirit is in this wonderful place, whether you call it doggy heaven or fishy heaven or whatever you want to call it, in a wonderful place where there's no fear and there's no pain and there's nothing but joy. But that animal will never truly be gone as long as there's a small piece in your head and in your heart.
Oh yes, I told you that.
Yeah, and I thought that was just such a wonderful thing to say. That
Yeah.
that animal will be with you forever.
If you keep an animal or a human, someone who's passed away that was really close to you, if you keep their memory alive in your mind and in your heart, then that loved person or pet will be there all the time for you.
And it's very comforting, especially to small kids who are extremely literal.
Correct.
You know, you say this animal will be with you because the animal is in you, because the animal's love stays with you. Kids hear that, where they don't hear a lot of the other garbage. And I think maybe it's harder for children who go to school crying about their dog and somebody in school starts to tease them. I think it's harder for those little people because they don't know. As adults, we know enough to say, God, you know, this person's never loved an animal. This person doesn't understand that it's a loss.
Right.
But little kids, when they're getting picked on or bullied because they're crying, especially little boys who get harassed on football fields because they don't want to play football because they just lost their pet. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know where to put it.
We have materials at Aarrowood Pet Cemetery to give to families on how to help their child through the loss of a loved pet.
Now, okay, let me take it one step further. What happens if, and I told you this too, I have never interred the remains of any of my animals. My opinion has always been that the train is parked and the engineer is gone and the rest of what's left is mechanical. And that's mine, not anybody else's approach. But say that was me and I was dealing with kids, could I have access to these materials even though I had no intention?
Yes, you can always come to Aarrowood and we will supply you with the materials to help a child get through it. As far as having burials done for your pets, I would say that most people come and memorialize their pets than they do for humans. We have people there, families there all the time by their pets.
I think it's wonderful.
It's a very comforting feeling to know that your pet is somewhere being, it's a beautiful place, it's being taken care of. We really work with our families. We have an awesome staff. We want to get people through it because we know how hard it is to lose a pet. So we take very good care of the animal from the time of its passing to the time of burial to after the burial. If the family really needs us, has any problems about the space or the land, they know that they can come in and talk to us. And they're always welcome to come in and just talk if they're upset.
So what you're talking about is being respectful of the family. And Lord knows it's the same thing as dealing with a pediatrician who has to treat the sick patient but has to keep the parents happy too.
Correct.
In this case, you have an animal that's passed. So you have to treat that animal with respect on one hand, but on the other hand, you have to be supportive to the people who remain.
Correct. It's devastating to watch some families. I've seen many families that are just torn apart by the loss of their pet. So you have to be there. I call and follow up with some people just to see how they're feeling. Even a week or so afterwards, just say hello, and I'm still here if you need me.
A warm voice that cares.
Right.
And I think on that note, we're about getting ready to end this thing. You want to give people Aarrowood's phone number? Do you know it offhand, just to read off at the camera so that people have it and can get in touch with you if they need you?
Yes, 847-913-1246.
And Aarrowood is on 45.
Route 45 in Vernon Hills, near Deer Path and 45.
So it's a beautiful place. It's an impressive place to visit. It is a beautiful place if you're looking for a final resting place for a pet. And it is a terrific resource if you're at odds and ends about how to handle your own family or even just your own grief. The people there care and they're willing to talk to you. Nancy, thank you so much for taking the time to come in and do this for me.
You are so welcome. Hope I can help families.
I think you just did. We're now going to take you to Save a Pet and show you some of the dogs and cats available there for adoption.